Good morning, everyone. It's 11 o'clock. How are you all doing? Maybe, obviously, some of you will watch this later, although the weather's not so good today, is it? So maybe you're not all out and about and you've come to join me for kind of knotted and macrame Easter egg holders. And the good thing about these is they don't have to be just for Easter, because after you've put your Easter eggs inside them, you can then use them. I've got bigger versions, but you can use them to store your plants. Very on trend at the moment. I don't know if you spotted my little helper here. This is Gwen. Say hello, Gwen. She's just kind of watching over me. And also, I thought I'd stand over here today because this is my massive macrame that I made for my sister's wedding, which still hasn't happened, but hopefully will next year. So I just thought I would display it in my house whilst we're waiting for the big day. So macrame is super addictive. And hopefully you'll enjoy this little activity. And I'll do a couple of different, hi Yvonne, I'll do a couple of different designs. I'll do one that's like crazy easy and you'll have like 5 of them made in 10 minutes. So a nice, easy, quick design that you can use any kind of rope or twine or wool to make, or I'll also show you some harder knots. So if you want to try having a go at doing some difficult ones, which will last a bit longer. You can also make them for the garden. I generally find that most of the ropes you get, the nice looking ones, are generally natural materials. So unfortunately, they don't last very long in the garden, but I still use them. They last a couple of years. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Katie. But if you want to get ones that do suit the garden, they generally need to contain plastic, which then means that they're quite ugly colours and ugly texture. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to make this one first. So this kind of very simple pink one, and also I made it in yellow. I was going to blow these eggs out or boil them, but I didn't have time. So I'm like keeping them very safe so that they don't fall and I end up with scrambled egg on my floor. So what we do is we start with, you just need to decide how long you want to make your hanger depending on where it's going to be. You're going to double that and then you're going to add a little bit extra to allow for the knot. So if I want one that's about 40 centimeters, I'm going to cut double that, 80, and then I'm going to add 20 centimeters to allow for the knot, so about 1 meter. So I'm gonna cut 3 pieces at 1 meter, and you'll soon see how long that becomes if you're going to try making them later. I'm just using a kind of a cotton twine that I got in a kind of part of a multi-pack, and I thought this was quite a nice spring colour. But like I said earlier, you can also make them out of wool or like the twine you get in the supermarket for like £1 for a ball, like this one here, and or even thicker ropes if you can get hold of them, but that's probably less likely to have at home. So I've got my 3 1 meter lengths. Okay, that's literally it for now. And like I said, they're going to be basically folded in half, so they're just going to be a little bit smaller than this distance now. Sorry, I'm a little bit close at the moment, but in a moment I'm going to pull away and then you'll hopefully be able to see more what I'm doing, just evening them out a little bit. Now you need to work elevated, so you need to either be on a nail on the wall or on a clothes hanger or on a hanger on the back of the door, and then I just do them over this kind of clothes rail. But you must make sure, like I know that I can disconnect this afterwards and release them. Okay, so make sure you don't attach them to a clothes rail and then realize that they're trapped there forever. If that is the case, you can use something like a hanger or an S hook to make sure that you've attached it so that it can be released again afterwards. So I'm just going to place that over the top. I'm going to hold them so they're fairly even. I didn't do a very good job of cutting, actually. I've got one that's really short, so just figure that out a sec. That's okay, it's just got a bit twisted. Okay, so I've got my 3 lengths of 1 meter, and I'm just going to do an overhand knot. Hi, Paula. Hi, Linda. And I'm just going to knot it there at the top. So all 3 pieces of rope have been put together, and now I have 6 strands. Okay, I'm just going to pair them up. It doesn't matter which pairs you pair, just you need 3 pairs. And then again, depending on the length of your design, I'm just going to do a simple overhand knot wherever I want kind of my egg to go. So I'm just going to go here about 20 centimeters down on this design. Once you've made one, you'll figure it out. So this is a bit shorter than my previous one. So about 20 centimeters down, I've just done an overhand knot, just a regular knot. I call it like a balloon knot for some reason. There. I'm then going to do one in the same position on the next pair. So I'm holding that. That's where I'm going to drop it. Do a little loop, pass the two ends through, pull that tight. All right. That one is going to be about here. So I'm going to do an overhand knot, pass the strands through, and lower that a little bit. So I've got 3 knots on each of the 3 pairs. Okay, so super simple for now. The next thing is also pretty easy, but you're just going to take one from one pair and then one from its neighbouring pair. This one I got a bit of a twist. I managed to kind of mix up my pairs when I chose the second one, and it's all gone a bit funny. So do take a moment to stop and have a little look and check that you've got a pair that are next to each other. So there's one, and there's the closest one. So I'm just taking those 2, and I'm going to do another of the same knot, a loop, and passing the 2 ends through, like so. And the distance that I've left here is going to be about the depth of my egg. Okay, so again, if you're doing a big Easter egg, you would go a little bit lower. So you've got like a nice kind of web to hold it in place. I'm just going to put a small Easter egg inside here. So then taking the next 2 neighbouring ones, bringing them together and doing a knot at the same. Hi Donna, hi Pam and Roger. Wow, nice busy group today. And passing that through and doing a knot in about the same position, creating this web. Oh, funny that knot. And last one, grab a pair, loop. I can hear the noise of the postman outside. I hope he hasn't got something for me. I don't think I'm due anything. There you go. And there I've got 3 pairs on all the sets. So that's created the little web that's going to hold, for now, my Easter egg. But ultimately, after Easter, you could also put a tiny little pot plant inside there. It could be quite cute. I've also seen some lovely things where people have put like a little slice of wood inside, and then you can balance something on them. You can also put like a little jar with a little plant in it, like a little kind of cutting, all sorts of ideas, loads of ideas for macrame. The important thing about this final knot is that you don't leave a massive space. If you leave a massive space, then your egg or even your plant at a later date is just going to fall right through the bottom. Hi, Mandy. So you're just going to make sure that you put it just about whatever size you do, just only leave like less than an inch before you put your final knot. And the final knot is the same as the top. So it's a big overhand knot. So you're just doing a loop with all the strands, and then you're passing all the strands through the center. Ooh, don't miss any. And pull that through. Okay, and there's my little knot at the end. My ends are a bit uneven just because my cutting wasn't brilliant, and also it's always depending on the knots, there'll always be a little bit uneven. So I'm just going to cut a little, trim them off at the bottom, and then this one didn't go so well, so I'm quite happy to take that egg out of there and place it inside my new and improved version. So here we go. All right, so there's my little egg holder to be displayed around the house. But like I said, you might want to, and you can also decorate the eggs. There's some great tutorials online for decorating eggs. And that again would be a great thing to do with the kids, and you can cover them with washi tape or you can marble them. I'm really quickly going to make that again just to show you how easy it is to do in wool. So I'm going to do it full speed a sec. So I think these were just a bit longer than a meter. I had 3 just over a meter pieces of this kind of pastel wool that I got hold of. I've just done 1 knot at the top to secure it. Then I'm doing 3 knots in the same height as far down as I want. Then I'm doing 3 knots with the partners here. So here we go. So I'm quite fancy this colour. I've been making some wreaths out of this colour. It's really nice. It's from Mariner yarns, which I've learned, I think, is a Welsh company. I hadn't actually realised that before. And they're really cheap as well, which is great. So, and then there's my third one. So that's the one that's the web. So those are the neighbouring ones. So I've got my 3 there. And then at the bottom, I'm just going to grab all the yarns and pull them through like so. And then in a moment, I'll show you the harder ones, all right? So that's super simple. Ooh, I keep missing one every time. And get all the 6 strands and tighten that up. So it went a bit wrong with that knot. There we go. So there I've got my new one. And again, I'll steal this big egg. I'm desperate. I was dreaming about this egg last night. It's not very often that I have chocolate in my house and I don't eat it. Oh, that's a tiny bit too small, but there you go. I'll have to buy another egg to fill it. So I wish I'd done those a little bit further apart. I didn't really plan for my big egg, but still, it'll hold it and it looks pretty cute. And again, I just need to tidy up that knot at the bottom. Just get that straight. All right, let's learn some harder knots now that you've done some simple knots. All right. So macrame itself is generally a little bit harder than that. Those are just simple knots to make something fun. So let's do a bit of actual macrame. So macrame is generally done with a few more strands because all the knots that you do, require 4 strands. So we're going to have, like this design here, 4 strands running here, 4 strands running here, and 4 strands running here. So that totals 12. So you need 6 strands that are folded in half. On average, to make something like that, you actually need about 3 meters of rope to start your design. So you do need a lot more rope. But again, you can still use this twine stuff. I've still, you don't have to use big fancy rope that you buy. So here, just my teaching demo, just to show you a couple of fancy knots. I had 6 strands of rope and I've just passed them all through this wooden hoop. Okay, and again, the wooden hoops you can get from like the B&Q type places. They're like curtain loops is the easiest way to get hold of those. And I'll show you first a gathering knot. Okay, a gathering knot is kind of what it says on the name of it. It just gathers all the threads together. So we're going to do like a little U shape. Okay, so I'm holding that with my thumb. So you've got the thread going down and round. And then you take the length of thread, and this piece of thread, is about 60 centimeters. And you're just wrapping it around the body of the work. Now these threads are quite thick, so this 60 centimeters isn't going to get as far as that, but it's quite nice if you go round 4 or 5 times. I don't know how he's out there. Let's just pull him back through. So that should have been the little U there. And then on the final step, when you've either got no thread left or you just kind of like the look, you just pass the end that you've been wrapping around through the center of the little U, and then you pull it up. All right, so the top of the U, you pull up and it goes inside the layers of your rope. Again, it looks a bit neater if you go a bit longer, but that's called a gathering knot. So again, if you Google that, you'll be able to find lots of other kind of clear videos on how to do it. But I thought it'd be quite good to introduce you to a couple today. The next one is a square knot. So a square knot is the most common knot, and that's this one here, probably easier to see on my macrame behind me. So let me just take you over. Where is it? It's the knot that's been used to make all of those there. All right, and loads of the detail has been done with a square knot. That's probably the knot I use the most. So let me just try and go a little bit closer. Just sort my, I forget, it'd just be easier to move this, wouldn't it? There you go. Okay. So a square knot comprises of 4 strands. And what you do is you look at them and you think the 2 middle ones are the lazy strands. They're going to do nothing, whilst the left and the right are kind of the busy strands, and they're going to do all the hard work. So what you do is with the left-hand one, you make the shape of a number 4. Okay, so like kind of channel 4, number 4. And then with the right-hand one, you place it over the arm of the 4. Okay, so we've got a number 4. And then we've got this right-hand one that's gone over the top. That one then goes behind the lazies and through the center of the 4. So it sounds like a lot of information, but once you get into it, I think you'll find it quite easy. Okay, that's actually only half a square knot. We'll do the other half in a second. I'll just do that a couple more times so you can kind of understand the process. Let's do it again. So you've got 4 strands. Your left hand one is making the shape of a number 4. The right hand one is going over the arm of the 4, like that. And then that's the one, the right hand one is going under the lazies and through the center of the 4. Okay, like I said, that's half. And you don't squidge it right up to the top. Give it a bit of breathing room so it looks nice. Then let's have a little go at the other side of a square knot. So the other half of a square knot is to do a backwards number 4, like so. And then with the arm of the 4, you take the left hand strand, that goes over the top, and then you pull that underneath the lazies and through the center. That as a pair, that thing there, is a square knot. Like I said, one of the most common macrame knots. And I'll show you how I used it in this miniature twine one in a moment. So you've got your 4 strands. I'm just doing that again, just in case you missed it. So you're doing a backwards number 4. And then your left hand strand is going over the top of the arm of the 4, and then it's coming underneath the lazies and through the center so that you've got a little square knot. Okay, so back to my little Easter egg holder. I've used, it's really hard to see because it's small, but I've used a square knot here and here and here. I've just scattered them along and I've just left some negative space amongst them. It's also the knot that's used to do the web, but I'll get to that in a minute, but it's the same knot that I use. So you can see I've pretty much only used a square knot. There's one other knot that I've used and I'll show you what that is now. Ooh, careful of my eggs. Okay, the other knot is the spiral one. So where's that one? Here on my yellow one, so look. So this is the spiral one here, the knot that twists around and around. That knot is done by exactly the same starting point. So just turn this down a bit. So you've got your 4 strands. You take your left hand one, you make the shape of a 4. You take the right hand one, you go over the arm of the 4, and you do the first part of a square knot. Okay, so nothing different about that. You just do that. Then you do it again. And basically you just do it about 6 times in a row, and it just makes a lovely little spiral. So each time it kind of kicks itself out to one side and makes it make a little twist, which is a nice feature. I don't know if I've got enough rope here. What you'll find is your lazy strands in the middle, they stay nice and long, and the outside ones, the busy strands, they shrink quite a lot. So you just have to, that's why you need to cut 3 meters really, because it's hard to plan for the length that will disappear on the outside ones. So unfortunately you have to cut a bit off at the bottom. But there's my little spiral. So I just did it over and over again. And then when I'm ready, I can do another square knot. So again, for this one, I started with a big knot at the top just to join it. And then I did some square knots. I did a little spiral here. I did another square knot. And then let me just undo this and I'll just show you how you then create the egg holder part for a design like this. It's a bit small to show you on this, otherwise I don't think you'd be able to see it. Let me just move some of these egg holders. This one actually, let's move them all. Just got this one inside. Okay, so I'll just put one more square knot on here so it looks like your design. So you would run along the line. So remembering you've got 6 lengths of about 3 meters and you've done a gathering knot at the top. That was the starting point. Then when you've done some design work, so you would do some square knots, do some spirals for, maybe 1/2 meter of your rope work. Then you could start building your web to hold your egg or your plant. So what you're going to do for that is exactly the same as the simple one really, but a little bit harder, is you're taking this time 2 from the right and 2 from the left. Okay, so you're taking neighboring strands and you're going to take 4 in total, 2 from one side, 2 from another, and then you're just going to leave a little bit of space, and that would be to allow for like the top of the egg or the plant, and then you're just going to do a square knot with those. So the new partners you're going to put together with a square knot. Okay, and we're nearly done. Then the next one, taking 2 from the left, 2 from the right. So again, the next 4 partnering ones, the same height as the previous row. and doing a square knot. You all right there, Gwen? Gwen's having a little sleep behind the pillow. Good girl. She's up now. Do you want to see her? There she is, stretching away. Busy morning. Went for at least a 20-minute walk and she's knackered. It's a good life. All right, and then the final one. All right, so that's the full, that would be those there. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. And then on the next row, because you still need, you've started building your little egg holder, but you need it to go back in again. So you're just going to take 2 from the right, 2 from the right and 2 from the left again. So it's just partners again. And then that will build your web. And then basically when you've done this 3 times, so you've gone round and again, allowing enough space for your egg, you can just put a gathering knot at the bottom. So that was the one I showed you at the beginning. So that would be a way of just gathering all the threads together so that the egg doesn't fall out of the bottom. I actually did a big knot there. I cheated because it was so thin. You could also do that. That was the same knot as I used for these little ones. I just grabbed all the strands, made a loop and passed the ends through, just cheating a bit. But yeah, if you wanted to do it properly, a gathering knot is a great knot to learn. This is called a square knot. I don't actually know what the spiral knot's called. Just call it a spiral knot, or DNA, I sometimes call it. And then the gathering knot. Those are the 3 most common macrame knots. So here we go. So I've done my 3rd set. And then with the bottom here, I would just hold them together and I would do this knot again, the gathering knot, to finish them off. So yeah, that's how you can make some little macrame egg decorations. And like I said, there's very little to tell you. The reason I like macrame is that it's so flexible as far as what materials you can use. If they're going in your house, then absolutely anything that's rope-like or string or wool-like will work. And then I quite like that you don't really need to buy anything else. You just need a pair of scissors and you're off and ready to craft. So yeah, hopefully that's handy. I do have some videos. Oh yes, it is very windy in Wales today. Yeah, I just went for, that's why my hair looks so wild. If you like macrame, then like I said, there's loads of people who do great videos. But I've got a few videos on my website, larkdesignmake.co.uk, and if you go to the tutorial page, I've got a whole section actually of macrame videos. And I've got I did something similar to this last year. I've got a video on that, and then I've got a jar, and I've got a plant hanger and a water bottle holder, and I think something else as well. So if you want to have a go at macrame, then have a little look there and see if there's anything you fancy. All right, well, no questions today. It's all very, very quiet. But if you have any questions, I always check the chat later. So do let me know. No worries, Carol. Have fun doing some macrame, and hope you get hooked as well. And yeah, maybe before too long, you'll be having a nice big wall hanging like that in your house as well. All right, speak to you soon. Have a good afternoon. Bye. Yes, I agree, Kathy. Bye.